Welcome back to Justin Godsey TV. I am your host, Justin Godsey. Thank you so much for checking out tonight's video. Tonight, guys, a very late trade has just developed, as today was a huge day of about trades. You know, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Miami Marlins, these teams are agreeing to deals left and right. And today we are now going back to the desert of my backyard out there in Phoenix, Arizona. The Arizona Diamondbacks have officially agreed to a deal with the Boston Red Sox to trade away Wade Miley to the Boston Red Sox, and what a trade this is going to be. Now, from what is rumored to be, it's just going to be Wade Miley alone. There's not going to be any prospects from Arizona going to Boston with Wade Miley. But what's being returned in favor for Wade Miley will be Allen Webster, Rubby De La Rosa, and another minor league player. Now, if you guys are a little bit familiar with Rubby De La Rosa, he was also involved in that deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox just a couple of years ago. He went on to have an okay time with the Boston Red Sox. They all expected him to be in the future plans of the Red Sox, but the Red Sox have got to get some sort of trade together with the Arizona Diamondbacks in order to get Wade Miley. Now, Wade Miley, following his rookie year, he has completely fell off the face of this earth. You know, his rookie year was in 2012 as a full-time starter. In 2012, he was 16-11 with a 3.33 ERA, a terrific season for him with 144 strikeouts. Since then, everything just went either average or just completely went to hell, because in 2013 he was 10-10 with the 355 average in 33 game appearances with 147 strikeouts. 2014 was worse for him as he rose his ERA. His win-loss ratio was 8-12, and he had 183 strikeouts this year, which is a career high for him. But now that he's going to be going over to Boston, it seems really questionable on where exactly he'll be placed into this rotation, as the Boston Red Sox are finally trying to strengthen up this roster. Now, when you look into this roster, this is a very in-depth roster as it sits right now. The rotation is a little bit questionable because they just lost Allen Webster and Rubby De La Rosa, who is the team's number 3 and number 4. You would obviously want to put Wade Miley in, possibly ahead of Joe Kelly, but Joe Kelly is still a dominant pitcher. I don't think the seeding on where exactly Wade Miley will be, I can honestly say it's going to be Clay Buchholz, Joe Kelly, then Wade Miley. Then you can also work out the number 4 or number 5, you know, down the line going into spring training. But like I said, Wade Miley coming over to Boston, this team is, like I said, already set up to go to battle. Hanley Ramirez was brought over, Pablo Sandoval was brought over, Shane Victorino's out there in right field, Yoenis Cespedes is going to be on his way out, so you can automatically, you know, count him out of the opening day roster, because I don't think he's going to get passed by next week. I think he'll be traded probably by the weekend. It still takes a lot of time for the Boston Red Sox to find a deal for him. There's been a lot of rumors with the Detroit Tigers that he could end up being traded over there. There's just so much, you know, talk right now about the movement of Yoenis Cespedes to get guys like Mookie Betts and Jackie Bradley Jr. that starting time or that time onto the field as a kind of like a platoon out there in the outfield. But like I said, this is all about Wade Miley. This is all about the Boston Red Sox and the Diamondbacks trade. Wade Miley going over to Boston, it's going to be great, as this Boston Red Sox team are trying to get back into the kind of form that they were just a couple of seasons ago when they won the World Series. And right now, with the way that it looks, with the addition of a Pablo Sandoval, with the addition of a Hanley Ramirez, it's going down that road. And they just got to get the full production of their entire roster. Their rotation is that biggest question. They are now calling upon Clay Buchholz to be that star player. He's been calling upon in the past couple of years. He has not lived up to that expectation yet. I think it's just a lack of who was in the rotation over the course of the past couple of seasons. You can look at John Lackey. That didn't turn out a whole lot. Rubby De La Rosa has a great future ahead of him. We'll get into that here in a second. But he did not live up to the exact expectations out there in Boston. I think this is going to give him an opportunity to see what they got down the line. Could they eventually end up putting guys like maybe a Heath Hembree in the rotation? Could they end up putting Edwin Escobar, guys who they got in the trade for the Jake Peavy trade, over and put them into the rotation? Could that be a possibility? Because they are out 2 pitchers in their rotation. There's just so many options that they can do, and even they can even go into free agency and look at bringing in another free agent starting pitcher to put into the mix. Edison Volquez is an option there, so you can look out for him to be on the possible Red Sox wire. I heard even James James Shields could be a possibility. I mean, this is a great time to start talking baseball and following the postseason because there's just so many trades that went down today. But the Boston Red Sox are winning this a whole lot. Wade Miley is now the new addition of the Boston Red Sox, joining Pablo Sandoval, joining Hanley Ramirez into the mix. Now, when you go over to the Arizona Diamondbacks, I've been seeing this for the past, 4 or 5 videos. Miguel Montero was shipped out just the other day. So this team is making a lot of moves to try and rebuild this franchise. There's also a lot of discussion about Mark Trumbo possibly getting traded. But when you take out your main ace and Wade Miley out of the rotation, it leaves you a lot of questions. You're going to be without Patrick Corbin. You're going to be without Bronson Arroyo until mid-2015. That automatically leaves Jeremy Hellickson, Josh Clemente, Chase Anderson, Vidal Nuno, Trevor Cahill, Robbie Ray as the guys that are remaining in your rotation. Robbie Ray was recently acquired in that three-team trade involving the Yankees and the Tigers, so he's going to have to be competing at some point. So you can exit out Wade Miley out of the order, and if you boost it up a little bit more, my projected rotation right now as it stands for the Arizona Diamondbacks, I would obviously have no choice but to give Hellickson that opening day start. As much as we all like Josh Clemente, with him and his mustache, but that's a little comedy in there. But Josh Clemente, he's not a legitimate ace to open up the season. You want someone who is very young, but again, a little bit more dominant. Josh Clemente has been far from dominant. I mean, if you want to look at somebody who's given the innings a whole lot out there in Tampa Bay, it's Jeremy Hellickson. You recently acquired him from the Tampa Bay Rays. You want to invest a lot into Jeremy Hellickson. I think he can be, the future ace of the squad along with Patrick Corbin. Imagine Patrick Corbin and Jeremy Hellickson on a good year together. That is going to be an excellent 1-2 punch. And then rounding out the rotation, a lot of people are not getting a lot of love out there. Vidal Nuno. Vidal Nuno is one of my favorite players on this Diamondback squad who I watch 1,000 times next to my Giants. He has just been very underrated because a lot of people are saying, look at his record last year. But look at the production he has given this Arizona Diamondbacks rotation with any of the run support. Yes, he hasn't won a whole lot. He's lost a whole lot last season because the Arizona Diamondbacks failed to put runs up on the board in order to support Vidal Nuno in his outings. And he was probably one of the dominating pitchers in that rotation last year with the guy with the least credit. Everybody wants to give, Wade Miley the credit. Everybody wants to give Clemente the credit. You got to look into deep process and into this rotation and see which players are giving you the most production. Vidal Nuno has been that last year. Go back and watch what he has done. You understand why I'm running really high in Vidal Nuno in 2015 as to why I think he should be a little bit higher in this rotation. But once you get back, Corbin and Arroyo, you're going to leave your rotation into big question. Where are they going to start seeding, Clemente? Where are they going to start seeding, Corbin and Bronson Arroyo? What if Hellickson's having an excellent year and then you put Corbin in ahead of Hellickson? That's going to rub Hellickson the wrong way. So it's obviously a big, mind-boggling situation out there in Arizona. But as it stands right now, exit Wade Miley, put him into the Boston Red Sox rotation. You obviously want to put him at number 3. You go into the Arizona Diamondbacks rotation, Wade Miley would be at number 1. But without him, it would have to go like this: Jeremy Hellickson, Vidal Nuno at 2, Clemente at 3, Chase Anderson at 4, and then at number 5 you can also have a big competition between Trevor Cahill and Robbie Ray. I think those two guys have really proved themselves, but Trevor Cahill not last year, but Trevor Cahill, you can never put Trevor Cahill out of the rotation. You can always give him an opportunity. I think this is going to be Trevor Cahill's final year in Arizona. If he does not turn it around, I think he can finally end up seeing the door by the trade deadline, or whatever the case may be. He can end up getting released, whatever Arizona wants to do with him, because he has not lived up to the expectations of being an Arizona Diamondback over the course of the past 2 seasons. So Robbie Ray, Trevor Cahill could be battling for number 5. So like I said, Wade Miley is going to be coming over to the Boston Red Sox in exchange for Rubby De La Rosa, and also Allen Webster is going over to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So that is a huge deal for both teams. The prospects for Arizona is going to be rising. I mean, Allen Webster and Rubby De La Rosa are both inside the rotation. They're all projected to be in the rotation for opening day, but that will still leave a lot of question marks on what exactly would like to do with Rubby De La Rosa, Allen Webster. So that's a big toss-up. I don't think that they're going to end up placing De La Rosa in the rotation right now. I think De La Rosa could start the season down at AAA. I think that's a little bit crazy right now, but with the rotation as it sits right now, I think Arizona can last They can potentially end up putting De La Rosa in the rotation if they want to take Cole Mentor out and put him into the bullpen, as Arizona had one of the worst bullpens all of baseball last year. And then Allen Webster is a big toss-up. He's right in the middle of, you can place him down at AAA, get him familiar a little bit more to what Arizona is looking for, develop him a little bit more, and then you can also put him in the bullpen exactly right next to Cole Mentor if that's the proposition they want to go. But there's still a lot of openings on this team. Do you think that maybe the Arizona Diamondbacks will now try and look at a catcher? That's another opening on this team. They have Tuffy Gozwich at catcher right now as it stands. So Arizona strengthened up their rotation with the additions of Allen Webster and Rubby De La Rosa. So let me hear your guys' opinion about this. Once again, Wade Miley is on his way to Boston. Rubby De La Rosa and Allen Webster and another prospect is on their way to Arizona. My name is Justin Godsey for Justin Godsey TV, and I'll catch you